Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin.
I'm Patrick.
And we actually had a video request. Ryan Perova on Twitter said, I want to give Nioh a try, but not if it's going to be more of the same high-level frustration.
Yeah.
I found Souls too unforgiving as far as player mistakes, in addition to being too difficult to return to where you had progressed. So I want to kind of talk specifically about Nioh,
Sure.
but about the result of Souls being so popular that it has spawned a new genre of Souls-like games.
It has.
We actually played Lords of the Fallen a while back. Not good.
Not good.
It took some elements from Souls, but it really didn't capture the feel of it. The reason the Souls games were so good.
Exactly.
We feel that Nioh has. And at the same time, there are some things that are easier. Like in a Souls game, even if you just keep leveling up, you can't grind to get better toward a boss.
Yes.
And I feel like the level progression system is a lot more forgiving in giving you more of an advantage.
It gives you more of an advantage, and I feel the bosses, in my opinion, I think the bosses can be more forgiving when it comes to move sets.
Okay.
Other than dodging, there's a few things that are different, but for the most part, the bosses do remain frustrating. But one thing that I appreciate is that the world environment is not as crushing as Dark Souls.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's still frustrating. You still can make a mistake and die, but I think there's more of a room for you to make the mistake than just, you got surprised and now you're dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in Dark Souls that can be frustrating for people.
After you've played it for a while, it's funny.
Yeah.
Because if you know that if you charge forward, it's like, well, if I just keep walking forward and if I'm not paying attention, something's going to come out and kill me. And that's entertaining after a while.
I mean, I complain we're doing the playthrough on YouTube, but I'm complaining about some cheap things that I think are cheap. But if I die because I didn't use I basically didn't regulate my ki correctly or something, then that's my fault, or I'll say, hey, I was too aggressive with that. I'll admit it. I think that the differences between the games, also, Nioh does a better job of telling you the story overtly.
Yeah.
Not necessarily spoon feeding, but they have...
Well, I mean, they have cutscenes that establish, now you're going to this area, now you're on a ship, now you're in a new area, these are the characters, and all of that, dialogue, more than a couple of lines.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I think Nioh also does better is the run to the boss.
Yes.
Because Souls will typically give you a shortcut, but usually there's still 2 or 3 fairly difficult enemies between here and there, and you can't just run past them. You've gotten farther than I have, but in my experience with Nioh, I've found that usually I can just run to the boss, and there'll usually be like a clump of enemies or whatever, but I can just run to the boss.
Yeah, the boss that I just defeated, the latest boss that I defeated, there were 2 Oni on my way there. Okay. But you can, one, there is a shortcut if you figure it out, but 2, you have the ability to run/dodge around them. Yeah. And I think that the game wants you to know that you can ignore them, because if you spent time taking both of them out, you may not have as many elixirs as you would have before. I mean, it's an efficiency kind of thing at that point. Yeah. I think that it does a better job on boss runs, and I personally, now that I've played it more, I think that it is more forgiving when it comes to asking for someone to jump in and help you randomly. Yeah. So in like Dark Souls 3, you have to be embered for that to happen. So you either buy an ember, which are a limited quantity, or you find embers in the wild, which are either limited quantity or very hard to have very low spawn rate. And
and in Nioh you can actually farm for them. And I was telling Patrick about this thing is like the first main mission, there's a beach area and there's a bunch of revenants there, and revenants are how you get the cups. Yes. So early on in the game, you can actually summon somebody to help you, then summon revenants, kill them, and you end up with plenty of cups to move on for the next area. Cups.
Yeah.
So there are several elements that are easier to move forward, and the systems in place are designed to allow you multiple options.
Yes.
Whereas before, if you came up on a boss in Dark Souls 3 that you couldn't defeat, and you ran out of embers, that was it. You didn't have another option.
I had happen in Dark Souls 3.
As did I.
So to be able to do that, now I will say that one of the bosses I spent 15 cups on.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating because I literally spent all my cups. So I then had to farm cups. Now, you can use one of the branches items. There's a branch that you can use that brings you back to the starting point.
Yeah.
Starting point is your like
that's
dojo.
That's a dumb name.
It should say it exits the mission, goes to bat. It goes to map. Starting point is there's a lot of bad translation or language usage in this, but it will move you back to the map. So you could say, you know what, this is too frustrating. I'm going to come back to it. Yeah. Use the branch. Go out. I've done that on the 2 duel missions that I've come up with, where you say, where someone's saying, I'm going to challenge you to a duel. I have rage quit both of them, but all the rest of the game, I would say it's more forgiving than Souls, and there at least is a way around. If you want to summon someone to help, you can summon a visitor.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, like if you wanted to play the game this way, you could summon a random person to jump in and play every level with you.
Yeah.
I think that it would, because of the communication as well, it would be really hard. But you could summon someone, play everything, but I think you'd lose a lot of the fun and the reward.
Well, the exploration is a lot of the fun of that game, and seeing the different creatures that you're coming up against. One thing that is more challenging about Nioh is the systems in the game are much more complex.
Yes.
You have the different stances and a bunch of different weapons and
the loot.
So much
massive amount of loot that you will find, and then deciding, do I junk all of this for cash? Do I break everything down for materials?
Yeah. So the systems are a bit more complicated to wrap your heads around, but but there's a lot of tutorials out there, and we'll probably do one more in the future. If you go back and look at our previous video, we did have some tips on how to handle the forge and disassembly.
I do have a forge video as well. So we have a tips video, but I also have a forge video specifically where I go through.
I'm gonna watch that
and do that. Yeah. So that will help you. I go through each part of that. The only one that I didn't go onto, I think, is there's a style where you can make it look like something else, but
change your hair.
Yeah, you can change your hair too. I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah, but you get a trophy for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go change my hair then. To refashion and to make it look like something else.
Well, I did that so that I can always be wearing that hideous mask with the horns from the
pre-order.
Yeah, not from the pre-order, from the beta test.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that is a hideous mask. I will always wear it.
I'm very ninja-like in my character.
Yeah.
But I think that Nioh for the most part, I would say combat-wise and gameplay-wise, it is more accessible. It is easier to get into. There is a lot more. There's more forgiving, and there's more tactics you can use in this than in Dark Souls. I also think that for someone who's just wanting to play a straightforward game and not having to dig in too much to lore, this game does give it to you overtly. The only part that you'd really have to sit back and figure out what the heck am I doing is the forge. Yeah. And to figure out, okay, and honestly, you could do that to get the best weapons, or you can farm weapons, but it's easier to find the right weapons. They're
going to give you plenty of weapons. Don't worry about that.
Plenty of weapons, so you could just keep going. You could just go, that one's better. That one's better. But if you really wanted to concentrate on specific bonuses, then you want to use the forge to get the right bonuses, or to remove bonuses that you don't want. If you have a great item and it says let's say you really enjoy high stance. I use high stance pretty much exclusively with my Kasuragama. If you use that and you have come up with an item and it says low stance da-da-da-da-da. Okay, nope. Everything else about the item may be amazing and maybe better than what you have. So you can go in and you can take out that one piece and add a random to it.
Also, one thing that I've found is really helpful is if you find an item that has like 6 bonuses, just keep shuffling on that.
And that's why I keep only blues and purples. Yeah. Because the yellows, your common and uncommon stuff, and even I think blues as well. Blues I think only have 4. Mm-hmm. So if you can find one that has the rarer items have more slots. Yeah. So find a really good rarer item and then just change out those slots. And you can upgrade your item too if you like it.
And just overall, we're having a blast with Nioh. Really enjoying it. We were excited about it before it came out. Now it's out. You're going through it way faster than I am because you're getting ready for the next thing.
I'm trying to get it done.
I've got this, and then I've got Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm going to be playing those for the next 6 months. Yeah. So I'm set.
Yeah. I will say that my tip, if you're frustrated, is farm those cups. Farm the cups because I've not hit a wall in the game, in the regular game world. Every time that I hit a wall, it's on a boss fight. Yeah. Farm cups. Take the time to go farm cups. You were saying you went to a lower level and did it there. I'm going to try that and see how the drop rate is. Yeah. Farm cups, and when you get someone in there, just stay alive. Yeah. Okay. Just stay alive because every time I've summoned someone, usually the person there is considerably higher level than me. They can usually hold their own. Yeah.
Do some damage when you can, but don't be afraid to let that happen and just stay alive. Get through the bosses. The triumph of the bosses is a fun thing.
It is.
But the going through the world, going through the environments, for me has been the most fun and most entertaining.
It is. So don't get too hung up on that. Just farm some cups. Go in there. You will find someone who will massacre that boss. I promise you. Just stay alive because, that's the only downside.
I mean, it might even be us. We might come in and help you.
We might.
So we'll see you next time. And thank you for the suggestion, Ryan.
Yeah. Take care, guys.